Hello, welcome to IMHO.
In my homosexual opinion, I'm Alexis P for Pageant's Bevels.
And I'm Darby Lynn Cartwright, Lynn for my mom.
May she rest in peace.
She's alive?
Huh?
What have you heard? We are back for another episode of Canada's Drag Race because you just won't stop making it. Today, of course, Alexis and I are back together. Can we make a confession? Should we make a confession right now?
Yeah, well, usually, I'm not a priest, but go ahead.
Okay, I already regret this. That's not the confession. That we are being very quarantined, but Alexis and I work together so much. We are pod buddies.
We're pod people.
So I have Curtis, I have Alexis, I don't know, like we're making the group small, but you are my pod person. So I have actually taken in some of your breath.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it. Before we get too into it though, do we have any announcements? Anything coming up? Anything that happened in your life?
No, I can't think of anything. Same old, same old.
Okay, wonderful. Before you make that announcement, I have a cute little thing that I'd like to show people. This week, it was brought to my attention by Gilda Wabbit from Louisville, Kentucky, which I lived in Louisville for 2 years before I moved here.
You know, I lived there ages 1 to 5.
I lived there ages 23 to 24. So like same. I mean, honestly, emotionally, the same. She was actually watching your show. She was watching Camping Out with Alexis.
Camping Out with Alexis, and you were my guest that week.
It was while we were discussing the season 2 of Camp Wanakiki cast.
The cast.
And it was she caught that was the first time I heard the name Darby. We're gonna play that clip for you now. This was a little over a year ago that Darby was sort of born.
The Rosie O'Donnell show is a huge part of my life, and let me tell you something.
Same.
My mom had Rosie O'Donnell's birthday. Not only that, my mom's younger brother, his name is Darby. I was almost named Darby, but they thought I would get made fun of for being named Darby.
Your mom's younger brother is Darby?
Darby, yeah. Same birthday, both of them, as Rosie O'Donnell. And do you remember on her birthday show, she used to fill the audience with people that also had her birthday. And she would fling those koosh balls at her.
Yeah.
And I pleaded, Mom, please go and see the Rosie O'Donnell show.
And get a koosh.
She never did.
So, Darby.
He's cool.
Missed opportunity for a drag name for you.
Yeah.
Please welcome to the stage, Darby. I just have a feeling you're always in cargo shorts for some reason. You're like, hi, it's me, Darby.
He's cool.
Hakuna Madarby. Hakuna Madarby. I don't know why that didn't catch on. It rolls off the tongue.
You know, we are kind of the drag Timon and Pumbaa.
In what way?
You're tall and skinny, and I'm talented and gassy.
Yeah, you do fart a lot.
Yeah.
Also, one other thing that happened this week, I posted on IMHO on our channel, I posted my first makeup tutorial because I got a new camera, so I wanted to like test it out. For the most part, positive.
Yeah, it was really good.
Well, that's very nice of you to say.
Well, you were nice, and when I did I did one for Patreon. If you're
there is an Alexis tutorial on Patreon. It's very funny.
But you were very kind. You said I learned some things. I learned some things watching yours. I did them today.
I was gonna say you look so much more beautiful than usual. Go watch it. I think it's pretty funny. And if you are wanting to play with makeup, I spend half of the video fixing all of my mistakes. So it's truly for beginners. But I do have to warn you, I did lose us a fan. I did lose us David. Unfortunately, David left in the comments that David was enjoying themselves and then I burped. And David doesn't have time for that. David has time for die-hard jokes. David has time for lip gloss. David doesn't have time for burps.
No.
Goodbye, David.
Adieu.
Adieu.
We are here to discuss Drag Race Canada.
Canada's Drag Race.
Start your poutine. I actually watched this episode in an Uber on the way home.
What privilege.
I had Thank you. I had a social distant gig in the West Loop. I was on the way home.
Why were you watching it in the Uber?
Well, I had a socially distant gig, and then I had about an hour's worth of time to watch the episode and get home because I did another review show. I cheated on IMHO.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You
did what?
I was on another review show. There's a gorgeous queen from, I believe, New York named Baird, B-A-E-L-E Stray, Bailey Stray. Everyone go subscribe to her channel.
That sounds like an intestinal condition.
Well,
I'm sorry, ma'am, you have a blockage. You have a Bailey Stray. Okay, can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I watched it. I did know that this was happening. I did watch it.
She's lovely.
She's lovely. So lovely. I love her paint. She's a bearded queen. We all start somewhere. IMHO started not long ago. I think we should all give all review channels, let's help them get started.
Go on over. She was really sweet, really professional, and so lovely, which is why I wanted to get there home on time. I will say, if you're not from Chicago, maybe you don't know, our lovely mayor is doing this thing every night where she's raising the bridges and blocking off the south side from the north side. And I was performing like right on the cusp of the loop. And so it was like, as I was driving by, the bridges were coming up, and it was like, oh no, I have to watch this. I have to get home.
She's the worst. But anyway, so I just want to announce that I'm running for mayor. Now, I will need most of the year off due to my nails. I won't be able to be in the office a lot, but I promise I'll do a lot less damage than she does.
Well, the president doesn't spend a lot of time in the office.
Yeah, but his brother died, so he had to go play golf with a friend. You know what? When you die, that's how I'm gonna mourn you. Not golf, but like a buffet. That's how she went. That's how she went.
If buffets survive this, do you honestly think buffets are gonna come back?
Yeah, we're idiots. Do you not remember when we did our My Favorite Murder show in Milwaukee and we got wasted and then the next day we were hungover as shit and we went to the Golden Corral?
No, it was a different place. I think it was a family owned.
Oh yeah, it was even worse. I was gonna tell about when they gave me a personalized tour of what a buffet is. Because we went in, I was hungover as shit. And the girl's like, welcome. And it's like, it truly is from 1991. And she's like, have you ever been here before? And like, I hadn't been to that restaurant before, but I've been to a buffet because I am an American. Our standards are low. I was like, no, I haven't. And I'm like super hungover. I just want to get to the mashed potatoes. And she's like, oh my God. She calls for the manager to come. She's like, it's a newbie. And then she gives me a tour of the buffet. She takes me from station to station. And she's like, this is pepperoni. These are apples. Yeah, I've seen food before. And then every time we get to a new station, she'd be like, this is French toast. And then another worker would come up and be like, oh, are you giving the tour? Is it your first time? And I was like, it's not my first time eating food. But I do miss it. I do wish we could go back.
I do wish we could go back.
Remember that guy that ate multiple plates of oranges? Just oranges.
Yeah, just oranges.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
He was in a white shirt.
Go follow Bailey Stray, subscribe to her channel.
Yeah.
Tell her we sent you. There's no discounts.
Before we get into the episode though, can I make one more? I'm so sorry. Can I make one more quick little thing?
Okay. Yeah.
I'm wearing new jewelry and I just want to show it off.
Okay, not only are you wearing new jewelry.
Wait, hang on, I'm an influencer. I need everyone to see it. This is my Gudetama lip balm that I made into a ring. It's from my sweet, sweet, sweet friend Erin, who I adore.
Darby does jewelry now.
Well, not really, but I did make you a ring too.
You did make me a ring. I am wearing it. It is so gorgeous. This is from the limited edition pin from when I was on Camp Wanakiki season 1. They got us all pins and she made mine into this ring.
When we went to DragCon NYC, RIP, when we decided that we were gonna go to DragCon, Dita, who love, of course, IMHO family, we adore her. She was so excited to be able to give us kind of an inside into DragCon because she, you know, she's a Rue girl. She gets different discounts and stuff on booths. And she's like, I'm part of the IMHO family. Let's get an IMHO booth. Let's split a booth and we can all go together as a big IMHO family. So of course, what did we say?
Yes.
Without a doubt. Okay. And you should absolutely go watch. We filmed on location at DragCon New York. So go back and watch that. I'll put the link in the description so you can click on it. It's wild. But we had a great time. It was a little too soon after we started IMHO. We might have overshot. So anyways,
yeah, that's some advice for Bae Stray. Maybe don't for this year.
Don't go to DragCon. Well, no one's going to DragCon.
Next year after we get to after you get a follower.
Literally just get a white van and sell pins out of the back of that. That'd be a lot more lucrative than what we did. But we brought our enamel pins and I put them up on this board and I was so excited. And of course we sold none of them. So I brought them back and I was cleaning out my drag closet and I was like, oh, I have all these Alexis pins. So I made it into a ring because I thought someone has to wear it.
You know what? You also sold locks of your own hair.
I did. I cut up locks of mine, Chan's, and Alexis's hair. And
it was just yours.
No. It was all was? Yeah. I cut wig hair off of all three.
I didn't give you permission to cut one of my wigs.
Well, I did. And I put them in a bag and I was selling our hair. We did sell those.
We sold a couple of those, and actually I'm the one that ended up with them. So now every time I go in my closet, I just find one little, it's like a little Coke baggie of hair.
That's weird. Okay, we have to get to this episode.
I'm so sorry.
So many people have signed off already. We're so sorry.
Derailment.
Boa is gone, which I'm still very upset about. I don't want to talk about it. I'm too upset. I'm too upset.
Stan Boa.
Stan Boa. Boa was delivering great looks. The judges didn't understand it, and she went as far as she could in the competition, which is very similar to this episode. I believe their runways were stellar. The judges never agreed. They needed to go for their own mental health.
Yeah, I also think with Boa specifically, and the person who goes home this episode, I think they're just too in their head, and they couldn't get out of their own way.
Ah, yes. Classic cracker. Classic cracker.
Which I relate to that. I'm always in my own way.
Go your own way if you're Miss Cracker. That's something. But the best part about Boa leaving was her message on the mirror. It literally was just nice.
Nice.
Boa.
What would you write on the mirror?
I mean, now, nice. That's all I want. That's hilarious.
That's funny.
Because, you know, some people write messages about their dreams and never giving up and whatever, which, like, clearly we've all given up, so leave that on another mirror. But just being like, nice. That's hilarious. I think I'd make a confession. Like, not a real confession, but I'd make some sort of confession of, like, the body in the lake near the studio was not my fault.
Red rum.
Red rum. Red rum Darby.
I would actually, no one has ever said this or done this before, but I would actually make some sort of, like, confession. Like, I would say, like...
So Elona turned around as she's, like, cleaning the mirror. Was your favorite part looking at her beautiful butt again? I got to see her beautiful butt again.
Yeah, and actually, I was in a car with a mask on, but I was like, is she wearing tights? Like, it looks smooth and...
Yeah. Beautiful.
It looked great.
I do think she might have put on tights after they read her so hard. So actually maybe. So they go back to the couch to sit and talk. Elona, she's in a bad mood, which rightfully so. She was almost gone. But she says that Rita needs to shut up because she's a senior citizen. I think Rita's younger than me. And fair assessment. My knees do not work like they used to. Well, no, fuck it. You're not that much younger than me. I think Rita might be your age. Are you a senior citizen?
No, but to young kids, I'm sure we are.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, I remember being like 22, meeting someone who's 30, and I was like, ew, gross. If you're 22, that's incredible. Enjoy your life. Make all your mistakes now. That is what your 20s is about.
Yeah, well, after COVID.
When you get to your 30s, you'll realize why you were such an asshole.
Yeah.
Or maybe 35.
Or maybe they'll be a little bit more mature than we were because they had more acceptance as they were younger.
And COVID. They had that. The other thing that I thought was really funny about them on the couch was Priyanka turns to Rita and goes, Rita, were you surprised you won? And I don't think it was a read, but as an audience member, we were all surprised that she won.
Yeah.
So she asked that, and of course Scarlet Bobo is having a meltdown, which super fun to watch. I mean, Love Scarlet Bobo. Stan Scarlet.
I love Scarlet Bobo too. I thought she could have won last week.
But that's the thing, is that I think the people we love, like Scarlet Bobo, Boa, Elona, they would slay American Drag Race. The judging on Canada's Drag Race is very different. Elona's looks that she brought, and even the ones that she made, would slay on America's Drag Race.
Agreed.
Scarlet Bobo would slay. Scarlet Bobo has that detox vibe. She would slay on America's Drag Race. So she goes on this Drag Race and she's like, what is happening? We learn one of my favorite things to ever happen in Drag Race. There is no mini challenge. So, Canada. We do learn that the Maxi Challenge is a drag pageant. It is the Miss Loose Jaw pageant, which they all loved. The minute they heard that, they thought that was hilarious. Did you know what that meant?
Yes. So what I have is Lockjaw. I won the Miss Lockjaw pageant, but Miss Loose Jaw is like, you know.
I wonder if it's too late to call Chan. Curtis looked it up on our Bing.
Wi-Fi?
And yes, we have Wi-Fi. He found that Moose Jaw is the 3rd largest city in Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan.
Scat porn. I don't know, they liked it, and you know what? Not everything's for us. I'm sorry, Americans, not everything is made for us, and that's okay. This guest host definitely wasn't made for us, so. Okay. They're gonna be competing in 3 different categories: talent, swimsuit, and interview. All 3 of which those are my strong points. If I had to pick 3 things.
Have you ever competed in a pageant?
No. Oh. Yes. No. Yes. Have you been in a pageant?
One of my very first times in drag was in the Miss Roscoe's competition.
Did you win?
I came in 2nd place.
To who?
Out of 5. I don't remember who won that night because I was brand new. I didn't know anybody. I was a young man in a dress and a Party City wig and a dream. But I came back the next time and I did make it to the finals. And that year I lost spectacularly in the finals of Miss Roscoe's to Miss Gia Gunn.
Oh yeah, she was mean to me in a trailer. They are not only doing a pageant, they're playing roles. They have to play a certain role.
That's kind of fun.
I love that. So Rita, because she won last week, which is still a mystery, leave in the comments below if you figured out why. She has to assign the roles, which it seemed like they had already kind of been assigned, if I'm being honest. There was a little bit of television treachery there. What is a role that you would like to play? Or one of the roles?
One of those.
Yeah, was there anything that you felt?
I would have loved the role that Lemon got. She was like the know-it-all, right?
Mm-hmm. No. The know-it-all that didn't know it all was Scarlet Bobo.
Oh, Scarlet.
Lemon's was she had been in pageants before but never won.
So both of those kind of like a Rachel Berry, like energetic, Lee Michelle, like the musical theater girl. Mm-hmm. That is what I vibe with.
I think Jimbo had the great idea. Like, was the comedy low-hanging fruit being like a slut? Yes. But does that succeed in Drag Race? Yes.
Okay, but I thought the delivery was really good.
No, it was, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, it's like, that's Drag Race for you. That or someone farting, and then boom, you get a crown. Pee pee poo poo, pee pee poo poo, top tier. We move into the walk around. Brooklyn, it's fine. She and Lemon get into a discussion. They commiserate over the fact that in their seasons, the contestants didn't like them. Lemon's like, yeah, everyone wanted to send me home. I feel like people don't like me. And Brooklyn's like, same. And she's like, oh, well, look at you now. And I'm like, yeah, look at you now. Yeah, you're a judge on this show, but like the contestants treat you like shit. What changed? You went to a different show, you're a judge now, and still the contestants kind of shit on you. Don't you think the contestants shit on Brooklyn?
I think they act very familiar with Brooklyn.
Correct.
Rue is put on a pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, rightly so, because where would any of us be, honestly, without?
Well, probably the exact same place we are now. I mean, we're not doing anything.
Yeah, we would just be reviewing, like...
House Hunters. I'm sorry, David, you're already gone.
Ew, David.
We're moving into the pageant itself. Jeffrey Boyer Chapman is hosting it, which is just so exciting for the fandom at this point. We're so thrilled.
I actually think this is where he was served best. In that hokey, crazy pageant judge.
I think the attitude of it, I think his like the fake kind of hokey thing, that's kind of what he's been delivering this entire time. I just think his moment to play with the contestants, improv is not his thing. He's Priyanka when it comes to improv. So the most exciting part, I think, of the entire thing was one of the judges. Well, we'll leave her to the end. Let's just go through. Tracy is back. Good Morning Canada host, I don't know. And then Stefan, who played the principal in Degrassi.
Did you ever watch Degrassi?
Nope.
Me neither, and I think because there's gay in it. Do you remember that show on MTV, Undressed?
No.
You never watched Undressed?
No.
Okay, maybe you have out there. There was a show that came on late night, and it was basically like,
yes,
not even softcore porn, and it was like different people every episode, but sometimes there was gay, and to me, that's what Degrassi looks like. That kind of like.
Okay, but there's gay in everything if you do it right.
There is an episode of Undressed starring the guy who played Tommy, the white and green ranger from Power Rangers, and he gets a blowjob.
Is he dead?
No, he's from my hometown.
There's a Power Ranger who said, oh, Yellow Ranger. She died in a car accident.
Yeah, John Tucker. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Rest in power.
Trini.
Rest in power, Ranger.
Rest in Power Ranger. And then finally, the judge that I think we're all so excited about, they end up talking about it during their makeup time / trauma share. Michelle Dewberry. She is an original founder of The Great Imposters. She is the world's oldest working drag queen, according to them. I don't know. There may be like a 100-year-old drag queen that just never quite made it. But Michelle Dewberry, obsessed.
Absolutely obsessed.
She looked great.
She looked lovely. Did you see, you know, Eve 6000 from Twitter? She did her makeup. She got to do her makeup.
Shout out to Eve. Love Eve. If you need to follow someone on Twitter who tweets, some would say too often, follow Eve.
But she's beautiful.
Gorgeous. She's gorgeous.
I'm so mad at her for being
She's
so
gorgeous
beautiful.
And so talented.
But she got to do Michelle Dewberry.
That's how I wrote it, but I have to be honest, I've been drinking.
I love seeing that. I want to see more of that. More judges, cameos.
That's also a docuseries I would watch if we could follow around older drag queens. So like Michelle, Debbie Fox. So I just wrote down all of their names plus like the character they're playing. So we just kind of give an initial thought. So first we had Rita Bagga. She was playing Mismatched.
And it was a miss for me.
What was that bodysuit she was wearing? The long sleeve nude bodysuit that was like 2 sizes too big. In the runway, she covers her tattoos with makeup and she's wearing a strapless gown. And then for this, she's like, no, I'm not gonna spend the time on my makeup. I'm just gonna wear this loose bodysuit. It was like a long sleeve t-shirt. Then we had Priyanka, who was Miss Demeanor. She thanked her dad for abandoning her.
I feel like you've done that.
I've done that a lot. Pri was so hard because we love her so much. It was so hard to see her falter again. Improving as an angry person, it's
hard because you don't know where to start, right?
Curtis had a really good idea. Hey, Curtis. Curtis had the idea of like, okay, your name is Miss Demeanor. So he said, like, if I was doing that, then every scene I would go on stage and like perform a misdemeanor. Like I would steal from the girls in the opening. For my talent, I would jaywalk. I would just do misdemeanors. That's funny.
That is funny.
That's funny. Thank you, Curtis. Then we had Misbehavin'. Jimbo was a slut. She looked great. Big old titties.
Big old titties.
Do you have a titty bib?
No.
I think Chan just bought one, right? I hope she did. She's gonna look so good.
Dirtbag.
She's gonna look so good. Dirtbag?
Dirty pillows. Dirty pillows. That's what they're called.
Grand Duchess of Dirtbags. Then we had Ms. Rebel, which was Elona. Same problem as Priyanka.
Elona, I'm noticing, makes very weird choices. And while I admire her confidence, it's only funny to her.
I'm still very much an Elona fan. I think she's one of the most beautiful drag queens in Drag Race history. But I do think that she's playing the same character every time. It's always like, remember the Law commercial last week where she was like, and then she did this again. If it doesn't work on Judge Judy, Let it go. Then we had Misinformed, which was Scarlet Bobo. I liked her bangs. I like a hard bang.
Oh, I did say this on Bayla Stray's review. She cut those bangs that day.
That's hard to do.
That is so hard to do, and it's so impressive. Scarlet Bobang.
Scarlet Bobangs. Finally, we had Lemon as Misfits.
I feel like this is right up her alley.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and she did exactly, I think, what my default would be, which would be child pageants, which I know she did on the runway, but this was also kind of very child pageant in her behavior in the pageant.
But it was good.
It was very good.
It worked for me.
Lemon does well in these improv performance challenges. She's very good at it.
Lemon is a great performer. I am excited to see where she goes after this now that she'll have more resources, aka more money to bring the looks.
And people around her who can kind of steer her in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first category is the talent. First up is Elona. She is painting and then she paints her body. Next up is Priyanka. She is anger dancing and then she gives birth.
I did think this was funny.
I thought it was funny. I was so sad though that there wasn't a build up to the birth, or I told Curtis, if that was me, I would have just made that my talent. Like I would have said, hi, okay, this is my talent. I'm actually not due for another month, but I'm gonna give birth. And spend the whole time giving birth. That's funny.
That is funny and risking, you know.
Giving birth. Then we had Jimbo, who was doing horny animal calls.
This made me LOL.
I liked it.
This gave me like, it really was like Cirque du Soleil, like comedy clown.
Then we had Scarlet Bobo. So she's misinformed, right? So she has to play the bongos, but she plays them like glasses.
This made me LOL too.
This did not make me LOL, but I appreciated what she was doing. I wish she had taken it to a deeper level of misinformed. I wish she had turned the bongos upside down, like said, all right, I'm gonna play the bongos. And then she looks at the bongos, she doesn't understand them. She turns them upside down and she starts screaming inside of them.
Oh, are they open on the bottom?
Bongos? Yeah.
Oh.
Then we had Lemon come out as a mime. Not my favorite. However, I enjoyed her body. I enjoyed her pads. As she was leaving, she hit the imaginary wall on her way
That was funny.
This was Lemon's challenge. This was a good challenge for Lemon. I know that the first episode I was saying how upset I was that Juicebox got sent home because I think Juicebox, and I stand by it, I think Juicebox did win the lip sync. However, I think this was producer shenanigans and I think they knew that Lemon had a lot to offer.
When casting gives you lemons,
keep her on the show. The final talent was Rita wrapping gifts. It sucked. I hated it. All right.
I didn't like it. Yeah, it was fine.
Then we get to the swimsuits. I'm not gonna like review all of them, but I did make a couple notes. Rita came out in her swimsuit wearing the same bodysuit sleeves. It was a lot for me. The other one that stuck out to me was Lemon because, again, she was finally padded. We've been talking about her silhouette kind of from the beginning, and we'll talk more on the runway about it, but she was finally padded. I thought she looked great. Were the pads perfect? No. Like, it didn't work in all areas, but seeing her have this silhouette, I really enjoyed. It did kind of stick out to me that she wasn't wearing boobs yet. So she's like, I can put on an ass, but like, I just don't have time for this. Which, I love a big ass and little titties, do not get me wrong. But I just think with Lemon, we'll get there. You know, by the time she's on World All-Stars, maybe she'll have more body parts.
TM, yeah.
Jimbo, she just starts deep-throating the mic, which I enjoyed.
Was funny, but weren't you watching that thinking like, oh my God.
COVID.
Because I mean, that was pre-Cove.
Post-Cove, it's a different situation. But I did like that she said she liked the taste of it because it tastes like strangers. Yeah, it tastes like the strangers I've met. So then they get to a moment so their whole thing is like they can't crown a winner because we have to save that for the runway. So their whole shtick was that Michelle decided she was ready to leave. She said, so long, suckers, and stole the crown so that there was no winner because she stole the crown. When it first started and they said, oh, she left this note, this handwritten note, I turned to Curtis and I was like, I bet that bitch left. We move into maybe the longest getting ready / trauma chat moment that we've had all season. It was a very long moment. Bobo is like talking about how cranky she is, and I'm cranky, and I'm cranky. And Elona says, yeah. And then Bobo's like, fuck you. And then they get into what Priyanka describes as the Seinfeld of arguments, because they're arguing about nothing. That made me LOL.
It made me LOL. And we've
all been there. Are you kidding? We've been there together.
Yeah. Almost all of our arguments are about nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought it was funny, but also like the pressures of being on a TV show. You gotta lash it out at somebody.
It's super fun to watch. Well, not fun. That makes me a sociopath. Yeah, fun. It's super fun to watch people who are in high stress situations break.
I kind of admire Scarlett, because that would just be happening in my head. What did your sound mean just now? How dare you say that?
Yeah. Because no one is sharing their own trauma, they do have to share some sort of trauma. So they end up talking about Michelle, she's the oldest living drag queen, or oldest working drag queen, had to wear male clothes under her clothes. That was part of the law. That was really sweet. I was really happy to hear. I mean, not her being traumatized, that's not sweet, but I was happy to hear
more about.
Well, I was happy to hear like current drag queens giving so much honor and respect to her. That was sweet.
To people that aren't on TV. I just rewatched Tu Wong Fu, and I've seen it a million times, but I hadn't seen it in years. And rewatching that opening scene, you see Lady Bunny, you see Coco Peru, all these kind of like iconic legends. And it's like, oh my God, these girls have been doing this for so long.
Decades. And if you want to laugh in just a guttural way, watch Coco Peru plays Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Is that not, she doesn't know how to play it. I'm not a video gamer. I don't like watching people play video games, but she plays Grand Theft Auto. Go watch it. It is hysterical. I love Coco Peru. I identify with her very, very much.
Stan.
Yeah. So to people starting drag, or they've been doing it for a few years, they're not sure kind of what their path is going to be, if they can ever go full time. One thing that I thought was like, well, you have to be on TV to make a long-lasting career. But no, there are, like Michelle, there are a lot of drag queens who have been working for decades, years, just hustling and make it happen. Like, there's queens in Chicago who have done that. We're doing that. Like, this is our full-time job, and there are careers outside of Drag Race. So I get it. Believe us, we want to be on the show. Do not get us wrong. We love to play the game. But if you want to make drag your life, if you want that to be your full-time job, there's ways to make that happen. Drag Race is not the only way. The more you know, Canada, Canada. The final part of Trauma Hour is Lemon talking about how she never really felt like her body was right. She's always struggled with her body image because they were saying they were jealous of her body.
Yeah, and she said that thing about being in the mirror, staring at yourself for 8 hours a day. That's a very real thing. Even like, well, because I used to do musical theater, so it wasn't as intense. We weren't in a mirror every day, but body image was very much a part of it.
Well, yeah, and there's the music and the mirror and the chance to dance for you.
Give me a job and you instantly get me involved.
Lemon presents as this high drag, high femme, high glam person, right? It's very femme, it's very soft. So I think that's what people are kind of reading her for, because she's not coming out on the runway in these high glam looks, but with no body, saying, this is a statement I'm making. I'm changing the game. This is who I am.
So you think that the pads and the curves will only enhance the final illusion that she's going for? That
I think she's going for. It's not like some big stance of like, everybody is valid, which is true, but I don't think that's the point she's trying to make.
No,
I think that's the critique.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on. We're both canceled at this point. Okay, so let's take it to the runway. Run, Canada. So the guest host is Ali X. I don't know about you, my favorite Canadian musical artist. Do you remember her song?
Yeah.
You want to take it?
Uh-huh.
Ali XXX. Ali XXX. XXX. Ali XXX.
What?
Is that a moose? We didn't know who she was, but they seemed very excited, and I thought she was adorable.
She was really cute.
So, more power to you, Alex. The only other, like, quick moment I'd like to talk about is Stacy with that turtleneck that was swallowing her head. I was 100% on board for it.
Every week. She can do no wrong.
No, she can't. The only wrong she can do is stay on Canada and not take over American Drag Race. That is the wrong she can do.
Nah.
We need her. We don't deserve her. We need her.
Did you not think Brooklyn looked pretty?
Yeah. Up first, we had Elona. She looked gorgeous. She had the, yeah.
I did not understand their critiques of this. I thought it was really cool.
I thought it was gorgeous.
I thought it was really cool.
The only issue I had with it, honestly, was when she said about her, like, diamond top, she said she was putting Beyonce to shame. That's...
No, ma'am.
That's not true. Did you see her, you know, spoiler alert, did you, now that she's been eliminated, did you see her elimination photograph?
No.
She did a photo shoot of her dress burned. She burned the dress. Like there's big holes in it.
That beautiful dress?
Yeah, and she's holding like burned flowers. It is gorgeous. Lemon comes out. She is a kitty pageant. She is Honey Boo Boo.
She's a loofah.
Love the concept. The hair was Jan Sports. It was a great idea. I loved her take on it. However,
smart to
that
wear
was
those shoes.
Full-on child pageant dress that she just wore, right? Because the waist was right here. That wasn't made for her.
The silhouette, even for a child's, it was
wrong.
Weird. The waist was
wrong.
Weird.
Because that was a child's dress that she bought in a child's dress shop. You know those famous child dress shops you go in every now and then.
Oh, yeah. Macy's. I think also props for her to wear those shoes. I always think about their feet.
Then we had Rita. Her dress, her gloves, gorgeous.
I thought she looked gorgeous.
Her hair.
Yeah, that did.
We'll go with that later. Then we had Priyanka. Best she's looked all season for me.
Oh, lovely.
Lovely, gorgeous.
Lovely, and she kind of brought her...
grandmother.
It reminded me, yeah, it was like a love letter.
I love Priyanka. I mean, I think it's safe to say IMHO, we're a Jimbo Priyanka family.
We're biased. Yeah.
I still think she is 2 years, at this point, she's 2 years into her drag career on the show when it was filmed. I do think that there is some growth, of course, in her makeup left to have. Can I say that?
It's just about the shapes. I think it's technically good. It just needs like adjusted. I think sometimes the liner could be a little thicker and maybe like pointed up.
But she'll get there. She'll get there.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
2 years and she's already on Drag Race? We've been doing this for...
No.
Okay.
IMHO is a Jimbo Priyanka fan account. And Jimbo, Priyanka both, I think we can safely say this, like they could grow with their makeup skills. I don't think that that's...
Oh, Jimbo for sure. We love you.
Yeah, like it's so, but we love you and we're your stans, so we'll grow with you. Speaking of, we had Jimbo coming out in, she was crying diamond tears. Can I say something?
Yeah.
The two outfits she made for the show were the same silhouette. They were the big ball gowns, the zipper dress, the trash dress. She didn't bring that with her, so of course she'll make those silhouettes. But now for the pageant, it's the same silhouette. She's done that silhouette 3 times on the runway.
I see what you're saying, but
I get it, because she made the other 2.
Yeah.
I get it. I just think it's weird no one's mentioning it. Like if Ross was there, he'd go, Jay Leno, and then he'd talk about that.
No.
This is a different silhouette, but it's a Vanjie energy. Vanjie.
Oh, you just turned it around on me, because I did have that thought about Vanjie, but because I like that silhouette, I didn't care. But I see what you're saying.
Yeah, take a look inside the mirror.
Jimbo's, I like the theory. I like it in theory. It was poorly constructed.
Correct.
Bad.
Loved the hair though. And then finally we had Scarlett Bobo. She was smoking again. That's a lot of smoke coming out of you, lady. I didn't understand that. But she looked stunning.
This was so good.
So good.
I don't know if this is correct, but in my opinion, it's the best hair on the runway thus far.
I disagree. I think Boa's hair from the,
oh, you're right.
what was it that she was wearing? When she had the blonde. The only critique I have, and this is, and I know I'm being crazy, but the ruffle on the side, I enjoyed the shape of, but out of that fabric and that color of fabric, it looked like a membrane. However, for me, she was the standout.
My favorite look of the night.
Correct. So let's get to the critiques. All season long, this has been the hardest part of Canada's Drag Race for us.
Yeah.
It's a different...
Is it like the producers do tell RuPaul what to say? And they don't tell these judges what to say?
I don't know. It's rough. Brooklyn's critiques are very much, I'm a drag queen, you're a drag queen, this is what I would do if I had worn your outfit. They're so small. To Rita, I like your earrings, but they should be black. You need black earrings with that dress. Okay. To Elona, I like the top half of your earrings. If you just had the top half and not the bottom half of the earrings.
She's critiquing on what she would do. They're not Brooklyn. Those girls are not Brooklyn.
Thank God.
Brooklyn does come from the pageant world, which is maybe why we're having this in the first place. She won Miss Continental, and she did a lot of pageants coming up before Drag Race. So you hear snippets, like apparently the pageant world is very harsh on those details. The hem has to be kissing the floor. You have to have this many stones. So maybe this is
kind of
her background. However, it's too inside baseball, which is the term I learned. It's too inside baseball, and if you don't do drag, it's not interesting to watch.
The only other moment that stuck out was when JBC pointed out to Jimbo that her look was very her, but it wasn't very glamorous. And Jimbo's response was, not glamorous in any way? Okay.
That was kind of funny because everybody who's watching the show was kind of like, why is he saying these things?
Yeah. I mean, I hated this look. I loved the hair, and that was it. The makeup, the jewelry, the weird fluffy, it was all a mess.
I want to see it reimagined.
So let's move into their Untucked Moment. Priyanka said that she felt like one of those girls in the club that is deluded. There is part of us that wishes we had more delusion, because we all have a little bit of delusion, let's be honest. But
I think I lack delusion.
No. Priyanka is faced with yet another probable bottom two, which is such a defeating thing, but she's still so charming. I mean, in her talking head, when she talks about it, she gets a little teary. But sitting there in drag, she's like, I'm in the bottom two again. And it's just the light-hearted Priyanka that we're all so in love with.
She's so good. She's good TV.
She's good TV. She's like, am I bad at TV? Like, is all of my TV experience not working? No, your TV experience is working. It's your lack of drag experience that is making challenges for you. But your personality, killer.
Well, and even drag queens, like, when do we get forced to choose a character and do improv to that degree?
Well, that happened to me in March, but that was for a murder trial. Jimbo, oh God, okay, then we get into the crazy shit. So Jimbo is like, I don't understand, like, how he could say I'm not glamorous. If Jeffree says I'm not glamorous, then I don't think he understands English, like his English language. Like, she's going hard. So then Rita says, are you looking for critiques? Like, can I give you a critique? Like, she says it in a very nice, are you accepting this critique?
Yeah.
Jimbo says, yeah, of course, I want to hear. Which what Jimbo was actually saying was, of course, I want to hear compliments. She didn't want to hear critiques. And then Rita's like, well, I have to say, I think this is the oldest you've ever painted. You look older than you usually are. Which I don't quite disagree with that. Yeah, she looked a little older, sure. But Jimbo's response, instead of saying like, oh, okay, she instead says, your lace looks like barf. And she just attacks Rita.
Yeah.
Whoa.
She spirals out of control.
In
a blind rage. I gotta say, I've been there. You've been there.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, one time.
Okay.
My rage would be driving around playing Josh Groban's album and scream belting at the top of my lungs. Either Josh Groban or Wicked. And my poor friend Joel, who I drove to school all the time, he would have to like bear witness to this.
When I was in college in Mississippi, I went to a private Southern Baptist Mississippi college, and I hooked up with guys off Craigslist. And there was this guy that I hooked up with like multiple times a week. Because I didn't know how intimacy worked, I didn't know how relationships worked, I thought, oh, we're in love, because we're hooking up multiple times a week. And then one day I go to his house unannounced because I was 18 and insane. And he's like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I thought I'd come surprise you. And he's like, what is that? Like, no, go away. And I was so upset. So I listened to Leanne Womack's Closing This Memory Down and cried in my Honda Accord. And instead of just like moving on, I would email him the track to Leanne Womack's Closing the Memory Down every day.
Every day?
Every day. And this was like a guy I met on Craigslist that had a live-in girlfriend, by the way.
And you showed up to his house?
Yes. The phone rang. I said, hello. Back to the runway. Lemon wins. Completely agree with it. I didn't quite love her silhouette on the runway, but
it was a
she
choice.
Killed the challenge and she made a hilarious choice. So I was in. Congratulations, Lemon. You are going to Iceland. You know, Iceland is green and Greenland is ice.
No, really?
I learned that on the Real Housewives. We found out the bottom two is Elona and Priyanka. They do a lip sync. If I'm being honest, I loved watching Elona perform. However,
I disagree with you.
Well, Priyanka made a choice. She's like, okay, I'm gonna be the drunk girl at the club that's just gonna like act it out. And I thought it was really funny. I'm not saying that Priyanka, I think they both did a really good job, but Priyanka made a really, really funny choice.
See, Priyanka, so when I was watching it, Priyanka made me laugh, which is the quickest way to my heart. But she also like moved around. She did have the split, which normally I'm against, because I can't do that.
Her whole thing was like, I'm gonna be hilarious this lip sync, and then she just starts doing the splits. So I was like...
But it was funny, and it did come in a fun time in the song. Like, she felt the music.
Yes.
So I responded more to Priyanka's. Elona was great, but we had
Alona's
seen
what
it.
we've seen.
We've seen her do that the
If
one
that was
before.
Alona's first or second lip syncs, I think the results would have been very different.
Or if it was I think it had to do with the song. I think the song was more move around more, and I think Elona doesn't do that.
You also don't move around a lot unless you're on skates. Elona leaves, and she's in the workroom leaving her message. She says, I'm just like, it just took me forever to get here. And I was like, it's season 1. It took you forever to get where? I am still 100% an Elona fan. She is a standout, and once we're able to travel again, I hope to be able to see her someday, because I adore her.
Hard same.
Truly adore her.
Hard same.
I know there's a long road ahead for America because we do not believe in science, apparently. But I hope that Roscoe's is able to put together something for season 12 and Canada and start a rotation. We want to thank, of course, the people who continue to donate. We are donating our ad revenue to Brave Space Alliance and the Chicago Community Bond Fund. So thank you so much for those who have donated by just giving us your time. But this past week, we gave all of our Venmo donations to Equity and Transformation Chicago. That is EAT Chicago. So we just want to thank everyone who has given to that. Because Alexis, my songstress, is here, she's going to sing you a song as we roll your names. Go ahead, Alexis.
What's the Josh Groban song?
Well, you're the fan.
You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas.
That's probably enough. Thank you so much for all of you who have given. There are still so many people doing so much work and fighting so hard for Breonna Taylor in Louisville. So we are going to be giving this week to the Louisville Community Bond Fund. So our ad revenue goes to Chicago Community Bond Fund, but let's do a little more work for Breonna. I know there's a lot more to do, so let's start here. All right, do you have any final words?
Yes.
Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week, or someone will. Goodbye. I like when you're quiet.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what to say tonight.
You never do.